We're here, guys, and the New York Knicks are in the playoffs solidly. We got a game tomorrow. We are so excited and nervous.
Take note. Big Beach.
We're here.
My man Alex
It's different this time.
What's up, guys? What's up? This is our playoff preview the day before. We do things last minute here. But the Knicks take on the CAVS 6 p.m. on Saturday. It's going to be a marquee matchup. That 4-5 matchup every year is the most exciting matchup of the first round.
The toughest matchup.
Right?
Technically, right?
It should be,
Right.
but this year even more so. I think both teams are better than their record. I think both teams are better than their seeding. They've been playing better. Excitement, Donovan Mitchell, we're going to talk about all that stuff, but it feels like we've been waiting for this for so long because we knew 3-4 weeks ago that we're likely playing Cleveland. So this wait has been excruciating.
It's been a long, kind of going like, yeah, we know we're playing Cleveland. We're not moving from the spot we're in. There was a little hesitation a couple of weeks back when we could
Randle went in on
slid into game 7, not game 7, in position 7, and I was not looking forward to that at
winning
all.
streak right after.
We're here.
Yeah.
So obviously we're all super excited. There's nervous excitement going on with me as well because I want to be sitting down in front of the TV at 4 o'clock.
Watching the pregame stuff.
I want to be drinking. I want to be prepped and ready to go. But this excitement is going to be so different because this is we have to win these games. So we have to come out of the first round. We have to come out of the first round. I cannot stress that enough. As much as we know that the Knicks have had a great season, we've seen an improvement all the way around. Bench players, starters, we've seen the improvement. We've seen the additions that we've got.
Yep.
We've had a good season. Our record was good. But if we don't make it through that first round, it's not going to feel like that.
Oh, of course. It depends on the series. It depends on how the series goes as well. And we'll get into that for sure. I know you have some questions you want to ask me.
Game 7? Are we going to a Game 7?
Listen, Game 7 will be in Cleveland.
Are we going to a Game 7?
So, we have a lot to talk about. We need to get into it. But just my general thoughts ahead of tomorrow. Like you said, it's time, right? We've been waiting for this. The guys seem really ready. You listen to all the interviews past couple weeks. Josh Hart is ready. Said he's been waiting for Saturday. They asked quickly came into the interview, asked the reporters, yo, how's everyone doing? They were like, good. They said, how are you? He said, I'm good. I'm great. Playoff time. They're ready. They're mentally there. I think we've been playing like a playoff team. The way Tibbs makes us play hard. The way we play a 9-man rotation. We've been acting like we're in the playoffs for a long time, and the way we play has been like that. Now we got to elevate to another level. But I feel like that for us versus the CAVS. There's a lot to talk about when we go through all the nitty gritty, all the stuff. But I just feel like we have a 9-man rotation. We know what we're doing. Their rotation is going to change a lot with regards to their bench. Right. And you got to see how that turns into.
So let me ask you this. So we're in the playoffs, game 1 tomorrow. I know that Tibbs has been telling these guys, and it seems the entire season, they play one game at a time.
Yep.
Do you think that's the mentality they're going into this? Obviously, it's a back and forth series. Do you think they're still going in with that mentality of one game at a time? And because that's worked for them.
Yeah, and they have to.
So they have to do that. What else do you think? What is it that we need to do to win the series?
Well, before we get what we need to do, we need to find out what's going on with Julius Randle.
Okay, so let's backtrack. Because Julius Randle is injured.
Yeah, and so again, you're always right. You told me weeks ago he's going to miss the first 2 games, right? I was, we were trying to see ankle sprain like that tends to be longer than just 2 weeks. You get into the 3-4 week territory. But Randle, we saw him at the boot. He's had all the time off, so he's just been relaxing. But he hasn't had contact practice yet. Could Tibbs be playing mind games, right? Keeping the CAVS off edge? Because they told Jared Allen yesterday, the Cleveland reporters, they were like, yeah, Randle's going to be out. And he was like, He said, oh, is that a thing? Right? But he was genuinely...
Act like you don't know.
He was genuinely... I mean, listen, he could be faking it, but honestly, he looked like he was genuinely he didn't realize. Because I think the CAVS think that Randle's definitely playing, and we're playing games.
So I want to update my prediction. I said that Randle will be out for the first 2 games, those first 2 games in Cleveland. I think he's going to be out for the first game and back for the second game.
That's where I'm leaning.
Now, I know the Knicks are going to keep us in suspense, not just us, but everyone, because with social
Why
media,
not?
everything comes
But why
out.
not?
So there's no need for anyone to know literally until minutes before the game. You have to give your roster,
But you have to
right?
give the game time decision, but you can get away with that.
So game time
yeah.
decision, and they can say whether Randle's going to play or not. Now, do you think that Randle playing or not is going to give us that win in game one? Do you think that everything lands on him?
No. Alright, there's a lot to break down here because there's a big feeling amongst Knicks fans that, oh, look how we play when Randle's not there. We pass the ball, we move, we run, we're exciting. We're definitely going to win this series. In the playoffs, the game slows down. We even have one of the best defenses in the league. Don't get me wrong, we will move the ball better without Randle. But you can still move the ball and end up with a bad shot. Right? You can still move the ball and not be able to make a shot. It can look pretty without buckets going in. Now, to end the season, we just saw what the team could look like. It was fun. It was fun. And I don't think there's a chance that we don't see it in parts in this series, right? I think Obi, it's now looking like he could probably be starting tomorrow. Obi can keep Mobley running. Obi can get out on the break. Obi can do a lot. But Obi's not that strong. So now on the other end, we really need to dominate the Cavs. We're going to get through these points soon. Is defensively on the glass, and offensively on the glass as well. We gotta get rebounds, right? And Obi's not a good rebounder. He's an okay rebounder at best. Does not get enough rebounds for a power forward, which normally isn't too bad because we got Randle and Hartenstein and Mitch. There's the big man anyway. But now with Randle gone, you're just erasing all that production, all that physicality, right? He wears players down. Obi's not that guy. Obi's more finesse.
Yes.
Now, Obi's been hitting his three. Obi's going to get them running. They do not like to run. The Cavs hate running, so Obi will be big for that.
Okay.
But for game one, just to get back to your actual question, I think they can win game one without Randle. They can win game one without Randle, right? They can. I don't know if they get through an entire series without Julius. I have my suspicions that it might just be a little bit too much for some of these guys right now. Like, we kind of downplay Julius because of his history and because we know his attitude. We know the playoffs, it could be a lot for him. But we're saying all that. This is an all NBA level player. He's played as like the best. Him and Brunson have been the best. Like, he's played so well. The idea that we're just going to lose this guy who plays incredibly, one of the top players in the NBA, and we're just going to still be better or as good
doesn't make sense.
Doesn't really add up.
Okay, so I think Randle's health, obviously, it's a huge issue. We don't know if he's playing or not. However, whatever game he does play, whether it's game one or game two or game three, as I originally predicted, he has a lot of pressure on him.
Big time.
He has a lot of pressure on him because of what happened in the Atlanta series.
Yeah, he does.
Everyone is going to be looking at him almost to fail or succeed.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because he's such an emotional, mental player, that could also affect his play because, like you said, he could play, or it could play great. He could look great, look good on the court, play his bully ball, use his toughness, but then the shot could not go in. And when that happens, that starts to mess with you. I know it does. There's no way you can tell me that you throw up the ball 8 times and it doesn't go in and it doesn't affect your morale. So I want to know, what I would like to know is what is he doing to prepare for that mentally? Is he meditating? Is the entire team meditating? Are they because I almost want to see some Ted Lasso stuff, right? Where everyone's in there, sort of meditating and getting ready mentally for this, because that's what people are going to be looking at. Is Randle that player who's great during the regular season, but in the postseason he crumbles?
Listen, it's up to him to show what that is. I will give Randle, I'm going to not a pass, and it's unfortunately comes into the series injured, because then it's hard to evaluate him again.
Right.
You know what I mean? If he's in there hobbling and we're like, well, you can't say this was a bad series or a great, because he's injured, right?
Right.
But when we played the Hawks a couple of years ago, before we get into our questions, last thing, guys, when we played the Hawks a couple of years ago, Randle obviously struggled a lot, shot like under 30, but it was really bad. But there were no fans the whole season. We go immediately from that to COVID restrictions being lifted, and boom, all the fans are there. Just mentally, a complete shift, right?
And then he had his beef with the fans after that. So
but that was the year after.
But all of that kind of played into
all of that stuff. That played into the stuff the next season. But in that season, in that playoff series, Mitch isn't playing. Alfred Payton, who's in Puerto Rico now, right? He started 2 of the games.
Not playing in the NBA.
Not in the NBA, heading to Puerto Rico. in respect to Elfrid Payton, but let's just be honest. We did not have anywhere near this level of team. The shooting, the experience, the defense, the passing, there's so much we were missing in that series. So I think now, I think Randle as well that season, he just like basically just became a superstar. It was all him.
Right.
Like it was just Randle doing all this crazy stuff. And I think based on that season he had heading into the postseason, he also had even extra pressure on himself because he was the guy and he knew he was the guy. Randle this season has been moving the ball. If you look at the team, he knows who he can trust. He sees Quickly dropping 20 like it's nothing. He sees Grimes dropping 20. He sees Brunson being his equal. Right?
Okay.
He's seeing these guys. He sees what Josh Hart can do. So Randle knows, and even on the bench, he watched those guys go win without him.
Yeah.
I think on a personal level, he's not holding it on his shoulders as before, and I think it's going to benefit him.
So experience. This is my next question. What guys on both teams have playoff experience? Because as I always say, and we all know, playing in the playoffs is a whole nother
different
level.
game.
Different game, different intensity, different odds that are, different.
Teams are game planning for you.
Right.
That's
they're game planning for you, and
Yeah.
then they're playing with you potentially 7 times.
Yep.
So they're getting to know you, getting to know what your strategies are, and getting to try to outplay you. So what having experience playing in the playoffs is huge because those guys need to kind of know what that feels like, even with the crowd. Like the intensity with the crowd is also there. So who on the team has experience that you think it's going to play in well for them and it's going to be good for them during the series on both
teams,
sides,
right?
Yeah.
So, well, on the Jazz, you got Donovan Mitchell, been to the playoffs multiple times with the Jazz.
Right.
They say Jazz or Cavs, I don't even know.
Well, you said Jazz, but I think that's because he played there, right?
So he has experience there, but that Cavs team does not have a lot of experience, right? Jarrett Allen and Karis LeVert, I think they played 9 playoff games in total. That was just with Brooklyn when they were there. So they didn't get too far, nothing too crazy. Darius Garland, all these young guys don't have any playoff experience. They had the play-in game last year, it was, I think. So we'll see exactly, what happens with them. Donovan Mitchell is the guy. For the Knicks, you got RJ, Quickly, and Obi, who have that experience against the Hawks.
Right.
I think Quickly's a guy who's about to hit the next level. I think he gained a lot from that experience. He spoke about it a bit. He said he's been playing. I'm not worried about him.
Brunson and Josh Hart.
Brunson, Western Conference Finals last year.
Right.
That's extensive experience. Going deep with Luka. Completely outplayed Donovan Mitchell in a series. Scored 41 points against him. Send them home. So there's a lot there. Brunson and Brunson's leadership, the way he plays, I think he's going to have everyone on point. And I think Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier, guys who aren't playing at all.
Right.
More so Derrick Rose. I think these guys are going to be in their heads talking to them. I just watched a podcast with JJ Redick and J.R. Smith. And J.R. Smith, man, shout out to J.R. Smith. I love everything he's doing with his approach to life. He's been such an inspiration going back to college, getting his degree now, playing. Like and he's great on the podcast. Go check it out.
Okay.
But they asked him about when the Cavs came back from 3-1 down against the Warriors, right? How did they do it?
Right.
And JJ Redick asked him about the locker room, and he said James Jones, and who was the other one? One of the other old guys, I can't remember, but basically the 2 older guys on the Cavs spoke to every player. And he said he could see those players, they're like down 3-1 in the finals, like upset in the locker room. And as soon as James Jones, who's now executive with the Suns, spoke to them, their mood changed.
Okay.
And he said, that kind of, those little stuff, the guys who aren't playing at all, that stuff starts mattering in the playoffs. So we'll see. Let's get to some questions about the actual game. Because we're talking about experience, but there's X's and O's stuff.
Matchups,
right?
Matchups.
What's going to be important in terms of matchups? We're going to have Donovan Mitchell. Quentin Grimes is going to be on him. He's going to be chasing him around everywhere. Right? They're going to try to get a lot of pick and roll going to get Donovan Mitchell, keeping our bigs off point. Obi, I love Obi. But if Obi is playing and they get Brunson and Obi in pick and roll, 2 bad defenders. Brunson's I would say he's bad, but he's limited because he's small.
Right.
He's feisty. He'll take a charge. He'll do what he can. But if Obi's lost a lot on defense. He tries his best, but he's not he has some, and he has athleticism, but
he's not a real defensive player.
That's not Obi's game. So I worry about that a little bit. I want to see how in terms of the big men, Jarrett Allen and Mitchell Robinson is huge. Like Jarrett Allen, strong guy, right? But he's a solid rebounder, but on the defensive glass and for Mitch on the offensive end, there was just so much opportunity there. I've seen Mitch. We've seen Mitch just start bullying everyone around him.
Right.
Like he's gotten a couple of years ago he had gained the weight but he was too heavy.
Yeah.
And now he's like the perfect size I think where he has the athleticism and the leaping ability, but he's so much stronger now that he can hold his own.
And what did he say to Bondi? Was it Bondi?
Oh, when they asked him about they're asking about the Cavs big men, going up against Mobley and Jared Allen, basically like 2 7-footers.
Right.
And he's like,
we got big men too.
We good too.
We good too.
He's like, look, we got Hartenstein, and he's right. Listen, we downplay the Knicks sometimes because we're used to the pain.
Yeah.
Hartenstein, Obi, Randle, and Mitch is as a foursome,
right?
As that group that you lose 2 of those guys and 2 more of those guys are coming in. The Cavs, if the Cavs big men get in foul trouble. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, they have no good backup big at all. So actually, to the point where one of those guys is going to be on the court the entire game. They'll never take both of them off.
Right.
So you start getting one of them in foul trouble. Now the other one has to pay 40-something minutes.
Right.
You could start chasing them big guys too.
Okay.
So there's a lot there that we can do. So I'm really interested to see the Jared Allen, Mitch Robinson, I think is my biggest matchup. And then lastly, Okoro and Brunson, right?
Right.
Okoro was brought in as the defensive stopper. When Brunson dropped 48, Okoro was not playing. Right, the last time Okoro played on Brunson, I think he scored like 15 points. He made three out of 3 out of 14 shots.
Okay.
So something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. So Okoro plays Brunson well, right? He'll get around the screens. He's a perfect mix of strength, size, and athleticism.
Okay.
Right? A lot of guys that Brunson plays against are either too slow to stay with him. Mm-hmm. If they're strong, he can get, like I said, if they're too slow, you can get around them. But if they're not strong enough, Brunson can kind of bully you a little bit. But Okoro is in that nice range where he can make things tough, but Brunson scored against everyone.
Right.
Brunson scored against much better defenders than Okoro. And lastly, he, in the playoffs last year, against Royce O'Neal and Rudy Gobert for the Jazz. Good defenders, they were all over him, didn't matter. So I think Brunson rises to the occasion no matter what.
He does. He's just he's that tough, nitty-gritty player, like you said. He's smaller, but he does not play like he's small.
Feisty.
He plays like he's a big man.
Yeah.
He plays like a big man. He uses his body. I'm always so afraid. I'm like, he's getting beat up. He's getting beat up. He takes those charges and he's like on the ground, and it's almost like he bounces back up off the ground.
Terminator.
So those matchups are going to be really interesting to see. And then as the series goes on and they get to know each other too, that's also going to be see what they change up. Does Tibbs change up anything? Not with the lineup, but with plays. And does their coach change up anything? Seeing how our guys play.
Yeah, Bickerstaff, their coach, he said, I think in his last thing, he said, we know everything they're going to do. They know everything we're going to do.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's like, it's not a secret.
Because we play them enough during the regular season.
These guys have been looking at tape like crazy all week, so they know the ins and outs.
Okay, so what about the X factor, right? Because I feel like in any series, there's always this like kind of one thing that's happening that you're like, oh, that's why they won. We got to the free throw line. We were scoring threes. We played great defense, or whatever it is that either team does that really kind of wins them the game. I feel like there's 2 things. I feel like there's a player typically who sort of steps up and you're like, well, yeah, he's the reason that they won this game.
Yeah.
And then also as a team, how they're playing. Are they playing really quickly? Are they getting up the court so quick that, the other team can't keep up with them?
You're saying the name.
I am saying the name. I'm saying the name. So quickly, here's the thing. I believe that quickly is, 100%. I can't see any scenario where quickly does not show up and play his best
Isn't that crazy?
Basketball.
I feel exactly what you're saying.
Don't feel any...
there's no, it's funny, right? You brought him up. You were saying, you didn't really bring him up, but in my head, I'm like, obviously quickly's kind of an X factor,
right.
But in a weird way, I'm like,
we already know he's going to do that.
Because I know he's going to be good.
So to me, the X factor, and why I'm wearing this jersey,
and why I'm wearing this hat,
is Mr. Rowan, who signed your hat, whose jersey I have on, who was our number 3 pick, and who we have watched throughout the season have these up and down games. Up and down games. One game he plays, he played great, he did everything the way he was supposed to, scored 25 points. Now, the thing about RJ that I do like is when I see him throwing up the ball and it doesn't go in the basket, it doesn't seem to change. He still keeps trying.
Which is a good and bad thing, but generally you love that mentality.
But maybe he has to try differently, right? So it's like, you still keep trying, but maybe you're going to do it a little differently. He to me is the X factor because so we already know quickly he's going to show up. We already know Brunson's going to show up. Once Randle is good to get on the court, he's showing up because he doesn't want to let he doesn't want to let himself down.
Oh yeah.
This as much pressure as I'm saying. Oh, this is pressure on him. And yes, of course, we're looking at him like, hey, are you gonna crumble again? He also has to be feeling that because he has to be like for himself like, damn, that Hawks season just didn't go well for me, so I got to show myself that I am that guy and I can play in the playoffs and I can lead this team.
Yep.
So to me, those three guys are coming up. They're gonna show up. Is RJ showing up? What's his mental state? Because, like I said before, I want him to shut me up. I want him to shut me up. I want him to come out there. I want him to throw down, even if he only has a good first quarter and a good third quarter, and the second and fourth are not great.
He may not be. Well, I'll talk about it.
I'm kind of okay with that. Give us some points, because if RJ gives us 20 solid points, then to me, then he had a good game.
Yeah. Well, listen. So with RJ, he's the X factor in a sense. So I was on KOT. Nick of Time, shout out to my man Jay Ellis. I was on his show last night. First show I've done in years. It was really fun to chop it up with everyone. But Lee, our man, we spoke to him.
Lee Escobar?
Yes, we call him Lee Escobar. But we were talking last night, and he brought up RJ, and we're talking about RJ a little bit. And we kind of came to the realization, not that we think we had these thoughts before, but we came to the conclusion, I should say, that if RJ, so we've seen, you said it, ups and downs. RJ's had some moments where you're like, this is it. This is the guy. Do this.
The last game.
We've seen him have these moments, right? Even towards the end of the season, he wasn't hitting his shot, but I liked a lot of how he was playing. We kind of realized if RJ just happens to be in one of those moments, like if this happens to now be one of those moments where RJ is just really good for 2 months, which we've seen so many times. Right? We've seen it. I'm no worry about him being able to do that because I've seen this guy for a 2 month period.
He knows how to do it. That's the thing.
If he does that, this team could go to the finals. So Lee's saying Eastern Finals. No, he's saying actual finals. But I know it sounds completely crazy and blasphemous, but we're talking about this series, we're breaking things down. We talk about RJ like an afterthought, in a sense. Like, what can Brunson get 30-something a game? Can Randle is going to be fit? If the attention that Brunson is going to get and Randle, when he does play, is going to get, is going to leave RJ and Grimes.
Leave him open.
Grimes hitting every shot.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right, Grimes hitting every shot.
Yes.
I think right now, in the last couple months, he's second in the league in 3-pointers behind, and it's like Klay Thompson, Quentin Grimes, Steph Curry. Like the best 3-point shooters in the league for a couple months now. So he's been ridiculous, right? On volume, of course. So I look at this game and I'm like, okay, they're going to be up on Grimes on the line. They're not going to let him get easy threes, though he's going to hit contested ones. RJ's going to get the ball sometimes with Okoro's already on Brunson. So they might put Darius Garland, who's tiny, on RJ. Right now, getting to the rim and finishing against those Twin Towers is going to be hard. And RJ's game is at the rim. RJ gets blocked a lot. We've seen RJ get blocked a lot.
He does get blocked a lot.
In this series, get to the rim. Get downhill, get those guys in foul trouble if you can. When you get to the paint, don't rush your shot. Follow from Brunson, get some fakes going.
I was gonna say
pass
get
it
some
back
fakes.
out.
Right.
Like, don't rush it too much. But you're right. Listen, if RJ plays well this series, now, like I said, we're not even banking on him being really good in this series. If he's really good, CAVS game planning. Now it's like you got 3 stars to defend.
Yep.
Because he has that level. He's shown it. He's got to hit his threes. He's going to get open threes. He's going to leave him because they saw how he shot to end the season. So RJ's got to make them pay. And he's done it in the past. That's why I want to see it again.
Now, RJ does get to the line.
Gets to the line.
Right?
Well, yes.
That's one of his strengths. He gets to the line. Gets to hit them. You are definitely correct about him getting up to the... getting into the paint and getting up to the basket and then getting blocked.
Yep.
So he is going to have to learn to finesse that play and have some fakes so that he doesn't get blocked, because he gets embarrassing blocks also. And then from the 3-point line, if he could start hitting some of those shots, then you're right. He is left open. He's left open. No one's playing around with him. They're like, oh, okay, it's RJ has the ball. He gotta change our perception of him.
RJ in the couple years ago, lockout, the COVID season, RJ hit, how much did he hit? He hit 40% from 3, which is incredible for RJ. I don't know. You see if he hits that again. A lot of those were corner threes, and he was really good from the corner. The corner 3 is the easiest 3. RJ he got those shots that season. He hit them. He's not hitting them the same rate now. He's shooting like 27% from three over the past few months. It's been really bad. Like since he came back from that last injury, his shooting has been bad. But I think in a way he got a lot of misses out of his system. The end of the season, when those games didn't matter as much, he got to play. He had that game where he played really well, but he went 0 for 9 for 3, right? And he didn't make 1 3 towards the end. So I'm hoping he come in this series. He had a week of just practicing shooting. He's gonna get chances. RJ's gonna get, there's a lot of attention gonna be paid to those main guys. RJ has a chance to be a huge player. What else you got from me? I know you got some requests.
Predictions.
Predictions.
What do we really think? So game 1 in Cleveland, are we winning game 1? I'm so excited to watch this game tomorrow.
I know.
Just to see, I want to see like the energy of the team when they step out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to see like the first couple of minutes. How are we approaching this game? Right?
Yeah.
And then if we need to change up, can we change up? If Tibbs needs to change the plan, can he change it up?
Speaking of, actually, he's going to bring me back a little bit before we get to predictions. It's not too long. We're only 25 minutes in. You got a little time here. Let me just say this about the lineups and Tibbs and stuff like that, right? Tibbs this season is finally committed to playing the young guys.
Right.
At the beginning of the season, Quickly still wasn't playing that much. Remember, it was still Quickly and Rose sharing minutes.
Yep.
Eventually, Quickly starts playing more. RJ goes down. Quickly starts during that period. He might win 6th Man of the Year. Quickly's become incredible.
And invaluable to the team.
His last 25 games, right? He's scoring like 20 points per game. Like at this point, that's a large enough sample size. When you also look at how he plays in general, that if Quickly started, he's going to give you 20-something points per game. At this point, when you think of Quickly long term, you think of his contract, you think of the Knicks. If you're Quickly's agent, you're going into that meeting looking at RJ Barrett's contract for 100 and something million and saying, Quickly's a better player. So
my guy.
Want more money. So we'll get to that. But so with lineups, you talk about RJ. One reason, not that he's not an X factor, because I feel like if RJ plays well, he just changes so much. Like everything changes. But the one thing I will say about this team specifically this year is the one reason I'm not too worried about RJ in this series is if he's bad, he won't play. We're not depending on RJ the way we used to.
Right.
If RJ comes out and he's just atrocious, right?
Right.
The defense isn't there. He's missing shots. He's getting blocked. It's just a bad RJ performance, and the rest of the team is playing well. These are the playoffs.
Right.
In the regular season, Tibbs knows who the young guys are. He knows who they paid.
In the regular season, he might let him ride it out a little bit.
No, he didn't ride it out.
But now it's going to be like...
You got to win games, right?
Okay.
We have a guy... Now, I might have been hesitant in the past, right, of him actually replacing RJ in the lineup. Right. But remember, this is the crazy thing. If you look at the Knicks lineup, right, to finish the games, wherever we're going to be, we're going to have Brunson on the court 1,000,000%. Mitch is going to be on the court. Mitch or Hartenstein, depending on foul trouble, injuries, this, that, the other, but Mitch is going to be on the court. Randle's going to be on the court, right? There's no scenario where Randle's on the bench 10 the game. Mm-hmm. The last two positions are up in the air. Josh Hart, and RJ. Actually, forget that. Josh Hart is starting. Why did I say that? Josh Hart, no, not starting. Josh Hart will be... Josh Hart has finished... I think Josh Hart has finished every single game, by the way.
Since he came.
So Josh Hart will be playing. So it's 4 guys. You got Brunson, Hart, Mitch, and Randle. Those 4 guys are like 95% locked in. Right. I think there could be some variance, but these guys are locked in.
Right.
So at this point, for one position, you got Grimes, Quickly, and RJ.
Right.
If RJ is not good,
bring on Grimes.
They're going to be on Grimes. And forget Grimes. Who I love. Emmanuel Quickly, the way he's been playing, I'm beginning to think the ending lineup for the Knicks, depending on if guys are hot or whatever, is going to end up being Brunson.
Switch it up.
Brunson, Quickly. They're going to play both Brunson and Quickly together.
Okay.
Hart, Randle, and Mitch. And the reason
I like that.
The reason I like it too is that when they start trapping Brunson, double teaming him, they start challenging Brunson to give up the ball. If Quickly gets the ball, he's going to make it happen.
Then we're good.
He's going to make it happen. I trust Quickly to drive. I trust him to shoot. If you double team Brunson and give Emmanuel Quickly the ball,
we're good.
I think it's going to be crazy. Yep. So let's get into predictions. Now, before we do the game back, we can talk about games. Let me ask you this: what's the series? I'm here.
We're going to game 7.
And is it Knicks in 7?
Yes. It's Knicks in 7.
I like the energy.
It's Knicks in 7. Game 1, iffy. I see, but I don't know till I see these guys step out.
Yeah, no, we gotta see this. We gotta see the series. Yeah.
But we need to win Game 3 at home, boys.
Yeah, that's
we need to win Game 3 at home.
That's a non-negotiable.
So to me, if we can win Game 2 and Game 3, then we go back to Cleveland.
No, but then we got if we win Game 2 in Cleveland, right?
Right. We come back here with Game 3 in
New York. Then we got Game 4.
Oh, Game 3 and 4 in New York.
Because
right.
we could
2
go,
games.
So there's something you don't know about this. So you know sweep 4 is it?
Yes.
You win for.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman's sweep, which is where you let the team win the first one, then you win the next 4.
Right.
I want to get this crazy, but let's say the Cavs win Game 1, Randle isn't there, the energy's a lot, they win, right? And the Knicks fans, let's not panic after Game 1, right? This team has shown us all season long that they can fight. The series will have, like you said, so many adjustments. You've seen playoff series where one guy who's on the bench doesn't play much, just happens to get hot, and you gotta play him. So there's gonna be, we have to see how this unfolds.
I am liking that gentleman's sweep idea for us.
I mean, obviously it'd be great.
Yeah.
Thing is, we get game, we gotta leave Cleveland 1-1. That's my biggest thing. No matter what, I don't care if it's Game 1 or Game 2.
Right.
We have to get a win in Cleveland. It's too much pressure on Game 3 if you come back to the Garden down 0-2.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It definitely is.
Then Game 3 is basically Game 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if you win Game 3, Game 4 is Game 7, because if they go up 3-1 and then they get back to Cleveland for Game 5, that's the thing.
That.
So,
man,
so you
my
said Knicks in 7.
My heart handle is... It's the first time I'm going to be feeling like how you have been feeling all these years.
The Hawks series.
The Hawks series,
but it was weird. It was a weird year.
It was a weird year. We felt like we won the playoffs after that one game, so we got all that excitement, but then we got blown out. So it was like, whatever.
But listen, to your point that you brought up weeks ago, and I love this point. I've made it as if it's my point many times since then.
What point is that?
But we're the same DNA, so it's all good. That you're glad we're starting on the road. I am overjoyed we're starting on the road. It takes away the internal New York pressure.
It does.
And the more I've thought about that thought, the more it's galvanized in my mind, and the more I'm like, we've been such a good road team. We're a young team, but I think we're very mature. We have sneaky experience despite the fact we're young. Mm-hmm. So I think of us on the road, and I'm like, these guys it'll be crazy to start, but I think the Knicks are gonna really enjoy taking away the heart and soul from the Cleveland crowd.
Yeah,
that last game,
you said that. Yeah,
it was a tight game, back and forth without Randle. They were missing Jared Allen, though, to be fair.
Right.
But we get late in the game, and then the Knicks just you've seen this many times, a tight game, and then the Knicks just put their foot
put that pressure on, right?
And so that game, which was tight, Mitchell was going off, Brunson drops 48. We ended up winning, I think, 130-116. But it was tight, and then right in the 9-minute mark in the fourth quarter, we just took over.
Right.
And I feel like the Knicks are going to be able to hang in these games, and then there's going to be minutes, I feel, third quarter, fourth quarter, right before we get into the crunch time, where Emmanuel quickly is going to just be able to take off like the roadrunner.
Step up and give us those timely buckets. He always seems to be able to come and give us buckets when they matter the most. When it's and then it kind of sets the adrenaline back in. Yeah. Right. And the rest of the team kind of steps back up. It's almost like he gives that he brings that motivation again when he does that. So
we keep the intensity so high. Like, when the backups go, when the starters go off, the 4 guys coming on. I'll keep saying this point, guys. You got to compare it to what we're playing against. Cleveland will shorten their rotation.
Right.
Caris LeVert's going to come off the bench, but then between Dean Wade, Lamar Stevens, Ricky Rubio, possibly, they don't have a lot there. Shetty Osman, these guys can get hot, but they don't have a lot there. Our bench, we're bringing on Josh Hart, Isaiah Hartenstein, Emmanuel Quickly, and Obi Toppin.
We have a great bench.
You know what I mean?
We have a great bench. If Obi was a little bit better of a defender, that bench would be solid.
But Obi's hitting his threes. So
he is hitting his threes.
George, shout out to my man George from Into the Knickverse, who was talking last night. He kept saying Obi's a problem for Cleveland. He's a problem they don't really want to have to deal with. Like what he's going to do and bring to the game.
Yeah.
And last thing before we get into, I'll tell you my prediction and we just talk about some final general thoughts. We play 9 guys only. Mm-hmm. The worst guy on our team is probably RJ.
Right.
Or Obi.
Right.
That's the worst player. Yeah. Wait, listen to me, guys. That's the worst player in the lineup. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're so like everyone on this team.
We're so good. Like we're so good. Like we actually legit have a team. We're so good.
Like so. Listen, these guys, they gotta perform under the bright lights. So much has happened, but man, This team has shown a lot, guys, and we have a better record than the Cavs since we shortened the rotation. So
Right.
I will say for my prediction, said it last night, Knicks in 6. Now, I got two gut feelings either way. I have a bad feeling of Knicks in 6, Cavs in 7. Reason being, I feel like the Knicks get to Game 6, which is at the Garden. They have to win. If they lose Game 6, which means Cleveland wins Game 6 to push it to Game 7, for us to go to Cleveland and win after they beat us on our home court, it's tough. Low odds for that across NBA history.
Okay.
So I'm like, if the Knicks are gonna win, they're gonna finish it in 6. Because if they go into 6 up 3-2, and then we lose to make it 3-3, then we gotta go to Cleveland. So I have to pick yourself up from.
Right.
But they've done it all. They've done crazy things all season. My other wacky prediction is Knicks in 5.
Woo!
And
with the gentleman sweep.
Yeah, well, maybe not. It could be a different win in there. But
Right.
this scenario to me is this: Knicks win Game 1. Maybe Randle doesn't play, but Obi and the guys are just
Step up.
on. They're
Right.
running at 200 miles per hour. The Cavs are just like confused. They don't know what to do. Right? Blow them out. Randle comes back Game 2, and Cleveland has to win because they'll feel pressure. If they lose Game 1 at home, now they know they can't go to the Garden down 0-2.
Yeah.
So they're already feeling now like, oh, we gotta
Right.
get this win.
Right.
They're playing a little press. Randall's back changes a lot. Randall's feeling really good now because he got the extra 3 days rest. Knicks get Game 2, right? I do think really what would happen is Knicks could win Game 1. Cavs fight completely. They give their all and get Game 2 because they fought as hard as they could. We get to the Garden, win 3 and 4 because we're just feeling it now. Now we go to Cleveland for Game 5, which is a tough one too. Right, we got to win in Cleveland on Game 5, but at that point, it's already a desperation game for them, right? So I think my hope is that we go to Cleveland for Game 5, boom, it's over. We're resting for the second round. We get like a week and a half off. Or, the flip side, we lose Game 5 in Cleveland, come back to the Garden, up 3-2, take care of business, Game 6. But we got to get one in Cleveland. If we don't win one in Cleveland, I'm worried because that's a lot of pressure.
One of the first two.
Yeah,
Right.
we got it. I mean, we got to win one in Cleveland no matter what.
Well, that's the thing because they have home court advantage. So of course we have to win one in Cleveland, but that has to be one of Game 1 or 2 because, like you said, you do not want to come to Game 3 in the Garden playing against New York with down 0-2.
It would be hell.
Like that's not what you want.
It would be hell.
I am not going to give a prediction.
No, you just did.
What?
Knicks
No.
in 7.
Well, yeah. So I said Knicks in 7, but
Yeah.
now taking into stock what you just said about how difficult that's going to be, and that's going to mean that Nick. I like how Knicks in 6 sounds.
Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6
Knicks in
sounds
6.
nice. I'm not. Yeah. Ooh. RJ needs to show up for the game.
Yeah, man.
RJ needs to show up and play hard and score. He has to. My prediction, I'm not giving a prediction, but my prediction is that
Knicks in 7. I heard.
is that
It's on record. They got you.
Is that Randle is not gonna play Game 1.
Right.
He's gonna play Game 2. Man, if we could win those first 2 games in Cleveland,
Game 3 would be a zoo at the Garden. A zoo on Friday night Knicks.
Friday night Knicks.
Knicks on MSG. All right, guys. Okay, that's it. That's our playoff preview, our Cavs preview. Final thoughts, just in general. Like I said before, the Knicks have 9 solid guys and some stars in there, and some guys that can play like stars on a given night. Right? Grimes, Quickly, RJ, and Obi, to me, can drop 20 points at any time.
right?
There's just so much firepower there. For Cleveland, after you get over Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley, the points for them, Karis LeVert can get some buckets, but it's not as easy to find those points. They're the best defensive team in the league. We're one of the best offensive teams in the league, right? So a lot of yin and yang going there. I think, those guys for Cleveland are going to have to play really heavy minutes because to match with our guys, we're going to be fresher. We're going to be able to, when you take off Brunson and bring on Quickly, despite the fact that I think Brunson is a better player right now, Brunson is closer to an all-star. I don't think, the way they're playing right now, the drop-off is not
going to
much.
be a drop-off.
When you take off Grimes for Hart,
there's no drop-off.
when you take off Mitch for Isaiah, there's a drop-off in terms of what they do. Right? Mitch is more athletic, but Isaiah's passing. So we're always replacing it with something really good, and they can't do the same. So George, shout out to my man George again, he was so confident last night. He just kept saying, he's like, I'm looking at these people talking, and he's like, they cannot beat the Knicks. We're so much better than them. And that's the energy I feel. That's how New York feels. New York stand up. Listen, we gotta be confident, man. We're New Yorkers. You can't be out there timid, we might lose to Cleveland.
Yeah.
This team's played good all season.
They have played good all season.
Good all season.
Let's go Knicks. Let's get these wins.
Let's
go. Make it through the first round, and then we could talk about the next team we gotta play.
Beating the Bucks in round 2. That's why when Lee brought up the thing last night, I'm like, all right, listen, man. Even if we did well, beating the Bucks, if you were playing like the 76ers or Philly,
you'd feel more.
I would actually be like, not 76ers or Philly, the Celtics, or the 76ers.
Right.
I'd feel more. Giannis is just a different beast, but we gotta wait till we get there. Let's go into Cleveland, game 1. Donovan Mitchell's gonna get his. We know he's gonna score. We can't let the other guys kill us. We gotta execute. But it's time. It's time. We deserve this, guys.
Get us through the first round, guys. RJ, show up. Randall, get over your injury, but all in good time.
All in good time.
All in good time. I'm so excited for tomorrow.
Me too. I'm ready. I'm
so
like
excited.
I'm so excited. We should have done this live. We could have spoken to people, but in the future, we're gonna go live. We'll talk some stuff during the playoffs. We're gonna be in the building for Game 3, 100%. You guys going to watch parties tomorrow? Let us know. We probably won't be going to any watch parties.
I'm too nervous to go to a watch party.
It's weird. Like for Game 1, I definitely want to be home, but I have let's see how the series goes because. We'd love. Let me know. What are you guys going to? We'd love to pop up, see you guys, show some love. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now.
Here we go. Peace.